Hello, is this Tristan in Waco?
Yes.
Hello,
Hi.
Tristan in Waco.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, what's up?
I've got a question for you guys. I've been on and off Christian throughout my whole life, and I've gotten some really big questions answered on each side, really. And so, one question for you guys when it comes to the lack of belief, I'm wondering, and I've listened to you guys talk about the problem with the appeal to authority and God saying, I say so, therefore it's true.
Uh-huh.
And I'm wondering if that assumption isn't a little bit far-fetched when it's applied to our own worth and, human rights and why do we matter. It essentially boils down to because we say so.
Well, no, it doesn't just boil down to because you say so. It's, a lot of years of evolution went into you having a value of your own life. I assume you value your life because you're not dead, right?
Or are you talking more about the value of humanity?
I wouldn't know.
Well, we have to start here. So,
Okay.
Tristan, you haven't, to be blunt, you haven't killed yourself. So there appears to be some value that you place on your own life.
Oh yeah, I work on a psych ward, and there's the other side of it where we keep them. We have to watch them to keep them from killing themselves.
Okay, but you value your own life.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that's essentially because I say so. And
Is it because you say so, or you have you value it, correct? Do you have to have a reasonable basis to value a thing? Can you value something? Can you value something because it makes you happy?
Well, when it comes to value, that already assumes that I'm right about it.
No, it doesn't. Value is self-applied. You are right about what you value because you determine what you value.
Well, I could value, killing myself, but that would...
Could you? Could you? Like if I asked you to value that and go ahead and act out on that in the next 5 minutes, could you do it?
Not me, but...
Okay, so let's stick with you, all right? You value your own life, correct?
Oh, well, yeah, I do.
Okay, and you value it because it's meaningful to you, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your life depends on other people as well, correct?
Definitely.
And you would like to continue living, would you not?
Undoubtedly, yes.
Okay.
I think what you might be fishing for is some sort of, there's some intrinsic value here that is objectively...
Right, but what I'm getting at is value doesn't have to be intrinsic.
Right,
value
right.
is what you determine to be valuable. And you're right, there are people who do not, I don't want to say they don't value their lives, but they may have a situation where they feel that their life is not worth living at this point or maybe even in the future, and there are some people who will take their own life. So I agree that there are people who do not find sufficient value in life to keep living. That is a demonstrable fact.
That's what I was facing last night. You had to keep this guy from killing himself. It's pretty severe when it comes to the things that we value, and
did you care about
what he wanted.
Did you care about this guy that you were trying to save?
I didn't particularly care about him personally, but when it comes to the value of life, I can see it, even though he might not be able to.
Okay, so you placed a value on his life that was sort of an abstract value on life generally.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. Do you know why you prefer life over death? Do you understand why?
That's how I'm programmed.
Well, what do you mean when you say that's how you're programmed?
That's how my body operates at this moment.
Yeah, you have a desire to keep living. Have you, if you went and tried to strangle a tiger, do you think it would defend its life?
Depends on its condition.
Okay, in general, let's say that there's not any kind of weird extenuating circumstance.
I mean, I work on the psych ward, so you can really get anything.
Okay, but the point is that yes, we have billion years of breeding that has instilled in us a desire to survive as a general rule, and I will give you there are exceptions, but what's going on here is that we are driven to not wish to die, right? We place a value on being alive, and if we didn't, we would have never evolved to the point that we are at, right? I mean,
I get that part. I'm actually
well, let me.
I support science fully. I understand it very well.
Then this is, to me, this is where the value comes from.
Yeah, I want to expand on Tracy's point a little bit. Not only are we programmed to survive, I mean, we're a social species, and we need other people to survive, and we have built, we have this wonderful culture and these wonderful civilization and all these things we built and all the comforts. The fact that I can, pull some paper out of my wallet and go buy a hamburger, I think is totally awesome. It's and so other people are valuable. We are better as a team, right? It's just that simple. And so other people matter because of that.
But I was saying they matter because essentially it boils down to what we want. And
yes, we want to live. Those are what values are, the things we want.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with
that. So when God says he wants us to matter, why is that?
There's no capital V values.
But why is that then a stretch?
I don't understand what you mean by why is it a stretch that God says he wants us to have value? What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, the way I see God is essentially
the ultimate authority, the ultimate thing that cares.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't see a need for God to provide me with value. We just explained why people have inherent value.
Yeah.
So why do we need God in that mix?
Well, it's actually it's not too intricate of a progression, but I figured if you'd like to hear it, it's fairly short. It essentially boils down from science assumes that the universe is intelligible, and Christianity assumes God created the universe, and God can be known through that. And, I mean, Kepler, Galileo, Newton pursued knowledge of God and how he created the universe and made discoveries that propelled science more than any secular attempts at the time. And
I'm not so sure about that, but yeah, I take your point. Go ahead.
I still don't see I'm still kind of waiting to see why God is necessary to explain human value.
Well, the vast majority of people define what is normal. I mean, if the vast majority think one way, then that's the normal thing to think.
It's average. Let's call it some sort of a average or median or mean or something. I'm not sure.
Right.
I mean, normal would include fringe. There are fringe things that are normal too, that are normal in a population. So when you use the word normal, you have to be a little bit careful. There is a norm.
I mean,
very overloaded
was
word.
Normal a while back. So I mean, but the vast majority have always believed in some sort of deity, and not doing so is the outlier. And so, believing in an illusion is wrong and delusional, but it's considered normal when it comes to that.
What does that have to do with human value?
Well, because that is essentially what I was getting to, is that it's an illusion according to science, contending that reality, as we perceive it, is illusory.
Wait a minute. I want to hear that one again because I am not sure I followed that.
Okay. Science contends that reality is an illusion when it comes to our perception. It's all subjective.
What do you mean science is saying that reality is an illusion? Like, I've never heard science say that.
Are you saying our senses are fallible, or are you saying that we're living in a vat, and we're
I don't know what
projections?
you're saying. I'm not sure I'm understanding. What do you mean when you say that science is saying that reality is illusory?
That our plane of understanding is the mid-ground. There's super small, super large, and we can't understand those kinds of explains, I suppose.
But we have objective means of
Exploring
observing
those
those
things.
things, even though we can't directly perceive and observe. I mean, that part of what science is about is getting objective means of looking at things so that we can take our subjective observations out of it.
Sure, but when it comes to what I was talking about, when it comes to us mattering, that part is not objective. That part is the illusion part. That's our opinion.
I don't
Well,
think
it
it's
is
a wait a minute. We just explained that this is an evolved attribute. It
Right,
doesn't even
and
make
that
sense
part-
that a thing would evolve and that overall that particular species wouldn't want to live. How would it even have made it this far? So
Yeah, no, it wouldn't.
this is a scientific reality, in my opinion.
Right, and that part is, I mean, that is based in hard facts, I get that, but when it comes to our actual understanding of the universe is just completely, like, useless on its own. We have to build that up.
I don't understand what you mean that our understanding of the universe is useless. Doesn't it keep us alive?
I don't really see the point of that objectively, other than just
I don't know what you
a
mean.
manifestation.
Objectively, right, you have evolved as a species that values your own life
You
as
know,
a member of that species.
when-
That is an objective fact.
Whenever this topic comes up, I like to bring up the fact that all of our technology is due to the fruits of science. Science and
Yeah.
reasoning created our technology, and
Oh, yeah.
can you live a day without technology, without a roof over your head, without a car, without milk in your fridge, and with all these things we're so used to? Well, that came from science, and yeah, it's a relatively young thing. It's 400 years old as a process, and we have a long way to go, and we may not learn and understand everything, but golly, it's been awfully fruitful so far.
Yeah, God helps those who help themselves sort of truism sort of thing. It doesn't really appeal to me that much. But when it comes to, trying to propose God as a God of the gap doesn't really appeal to me.
I guess here's the thing, right? If we had a pack of wolves, a wolf would value its own life, correct?
Definitely.
And the wolf would value the lives of other members of its pack, correct?
Yeah, so which
Okay, now
one is
wait, does that
objectively
wolf
more
understand the
valuable?
concept of God?
You what?
Does the wolf understand the concept of God?
Well, it may be a manifestation of God's intention.
No,
when it
does
comes-
that wolf have the concept of God? As far as you're aware, do wolves understand God?
I don't know.
They don't appear to, right?
Well,
I mean,
not-
there's
not
there.
on our level.
He answered your point.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, if a wolf values its life and the wolf values the lives of other members of its society,
Yeah.
and it understands this value, right, because of objective realities that have shaped the wolf,
A manifestation of DNA. Yeah.
why would people be any different? Why would you expect people to be different than that?
That was coming back to my original point, is what makes us so valuable. Other
The
than
same
just
thing
that
that
we
makes
say
the
so.
wolf valuable to the wolf, and the same thing that makes his pack valuable to him or her. I mean, I don't understand
Yeah,
the.
So it's
That's
not a.
I don't even see how this is
Opinion.
hard.
That's just subjective opinion
It's
on the
not
wolf
it's
part.
not valuable in the grand scheme of things, but it's valuable to
Is it
us.
subjective, though, of the wolf? Does the wolf have a choice in this?
Well, just as much as we do, which is none. So,
So is it really a subjective choice for you to value your life?
well, in that case, what makes the belief in God any less objective? That's not really a choice.
Because I'm not saying I've never said belief is a simple choice. Okay, I'll
Well,
give you that. But
I
I do
understand.
think that evidence should shape beliefs, and you can use evidence to even shape the beliefs of animals, right? You can
Yeah,
train an
it's done
animal.
that for me. Definitely, it's done that for me.
Right.
But when it comes to the meaning behind,
Okay.
I get all this, but when it comes to the grander scheme of what makes, I guess, why is that not delusional thinking?
Because you mean, why is what not delusional thinking? Belief in God or value of your own life?
value of your life? How is that not inherently
Because
delusional?
there is an actual inherent innate purpose. I hate to use the word purpose, but there is like an objective explanation for it.
Well,
I don't know
the
how to.
programming is that way.
Excuse
but-
me? You are
You what?
instilled with this as part of your evolution. I don't know why that would be subjective.
Wait.
You're not the only animal that is instilled with this. Tons of them are. In fact, all
Yeah,
of the successful
all of
ones
them.
are. So I don't understand why you would consider this to be a subjective decision to value your life when you're sitting here saying you couldn't just arbitrarily kill yourself. And you're also admitting that all these species value their existence enough to fight for it or to at least defend it in some way. And yet you're calling this subjective, and I find that very weird.
Well, so you can choose to kill yourself.
Yes, people do that. I understand. In some societies, they don't understand suicide. They don't have that concept. In our society, we do, and people take that route sometimes. But that is an outlier. What we're talking about here is that the species in general has this value for life. All species in general appear to have this value for life. And I don't really understand why we would look at that and say, now that we have an explanation for where this value is derived, and it is innate. So how is that any more subjective than saying that than any aesthetic that you were instilled with from an evolutionary standpoint would be subjective?
Oh, such as God?
No, that's not an aesthetic. I mean, that is something that when you have a belief, right? A belief as opposed to a value. A belief about reality is dependent on evidence, usually. What you have learned about reality. I have not learned about God.
Well, hold
but
on
it's
here.
innate to value life.
There's this word God, and I talked about this last time. There's equivocation here. I mean, which God are we talking about? There's mankind's have invented tens of thousands of gods, and they're all different, and every person has, every Christian I've ever talked to has a different idea of God.
To me, though, the idea of comparing that to the value that a person puts on their life is not even comparable unless you can demonstrate that all other species also have this belief in God.
Yeah, but
I don't believe
there's this
that
tacit assumption that belief in God is a thing, and no, it's belief in billions of different gods.
Yeah, it is a loaded term. I think that what I meant is the supernatural seems to be something that all of us innately understand at a young age. And
wait a minute.
We tend to assume that there are causes for things and agency. And it's a well-known failure of our reasoning.
Right. Children outgrow this generally. We quit saying, at a certain point, you stop saying that the door bit you when you shut your hand in it because you understand the door does not have agency. The fact that we go through this phase as children, believing that things do things on purpose to us, right, is something that you outgrow.
It's a simplistic way of understanding
the world. If you hang on to
that
it.
That is exactly reflected in the Bible when it comes to it having true facts, as do all other religions, and those always have a growth to them. And to me, when it comes to science guiding, I'm wondering if science is guiding us to an ultimately perfect understanding with a perfectly human religion.
I don't see that, but I mean, you're welcome to blog about it because we actually have other callers that I have to get to.
Oh, yeah.
I do appreciate your call. I hope we gave you sufficient time that you feel like you're able to express a lot of what you wanted to.
About half of it, but yeah, that's cool.
But I do have to move on. We do have other callers that have been waiting patiently because I'm a naughty host. So,
thanks. You guys are wonderful.
Okay. Bye-bye.